coming in hot. I had to start with the weather reference of some sorts. Hello and welcome and hello. This is Total Spotfest. I am JJ. That right there we have Mr. Austin Reddick, and your co-host walked away. But over to my right is Mr. Jamie Faulkner. He has Cat sitting inside that belt this whole time we were like getting ready, and then
she's moved over here.
I go to go live and turn back and boom, gone.
Just make sure you get that cat hair off my belt before Revolution.
Oh,
I don't need to. It's gonna stay here the whole time.
Will Austin finish his story? Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Total Spotfest. We are talking about some wrestling this week. We got a lot of wrestling going on here. So first and foremost, how are you boys doing?
Good.
Can't really complain aside from the foot of snow we got yesterday.
You got a foot of snow? Yeah, you guys got pounded pretty hard. Yeah.
So I don't know if we like legally got a foot by how they measure it, but because it was so windy when it was coming down, that's about how much stacked up on my driveway. And
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, cold winter weather aside, although we're getting into like the 60s next week, so spring's creeping up. Got a lot of wrestling coming up the next few weeks, so can't really complain.
you gotta love that Midwestern, like second winter where it goes from negative 30 wind chills to 4 days later, almost 60 something degrees.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if we don't get like one more random snowstorm, but I feel like we're pretty much out of the clear. We're getting there.
Oh, we always do. It's always that March surprise, right? This is not our gimmick.
I'm so over the damn cold. I'm so over the damn cold right now. I'm ready for spring.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some green grass. I want to touch green grass.
Well, spring shall come around pretty soon, boys. But before we get there, we do got quite a bit we want to get to. For those of you who missed seeing Austin wrestle in Leavenworth this week, you'll be able to see him this coming weekend in Wichita.
Yes, sir. AEW this Saturday from the Osage Recreation Center in beautiful Wichita, Kansas. It'll be a reasonable temperature out, so if you're in the area, come on by. Although, if you missed Leavenworth last week, you missed the one-time appearance of Rock and Roll Austin Reddick.
Oh, really?
Which was absolutely hilarious, because when he said it, I was like, wait, what? Because I was there as well, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, that was absolutely hilarious. Like, Megan and I just looked at each other like, what?
So, a real fun thing to do as a pro wrestler is when you're working shows where there's not much of a crowd, and Leavenworth, they're working on building. Decent show, but like they're working on getting the attendance up. Sometimes you just have a little bit of fun. Yeah, it's a fun location. There's some fun, interesting stuff on the show. But yeah, before the show, the promoter who was also ring announcing for the night was asking me like, "What do you want to be introduced as?" I looked him dead in the eyes, said, "Call me Rock and Roll Austin Reddick," and he laughed. And I was like, "No, really, do that because it'll be funny," and it was. I didn't do anything else to sell the gimmick though. Like,
okay, that's what I'm gonna say. Was there anything else with the gimmick, or was it just the announcement?
It was okay. It was just on the entrance because I thought it'd be funny. Although I did have my tag partner T2G was on commentary for the evening, and he started referring to himself as Techno T2G. So maybe we have a thing there. We gotta look into
it. Yeah, you guys are like Daft Punk.
We're just going to change our team name. Instead of the New Day, it'll be the New Wave.
Then you could come out to Journey separate ways because that's a little bit, the synthesizer, but still, a little. So, I mean, it's
always a banger.
That's what pro wrestling teams are missing these days. We need some keytar.
Yeah. I mean, because, everybody knows it from everybody found out about it from, Stranger Things, but still, like that intro. Great wrestling intro. It's like, oh man.
Anytime I hear anybody bring up the keytar, I instantly think of the keyboard tie that Mugatu made. It's the first thing that comes on mind every single time.
I remember as a kid, I like made like, cardboard or whatever, like the typical 80s red keytar, right? Because I was learning how to play the piano at the time. Me and my sister, we had piano lessons when we were real young, whatever. And I thought I was going to transition that directly into being a keytar player for like a big rock band or whatever. Thankfully, didn't continue down that path. Because
Burr, burr. We built this city on rock and roll.
I gotta learn how to play the
God,
guitar so I can
Starship.
play myself to the ring on it.
Hell yes.
That would get
That would
over
be
it
absolutely hilarious.
one day.
Well, on that note, I don't know how this is a transition, but let's go with it. So this past Saturday, not only was a little local wrestling here in Leavenworth, Kansas, but it was also Grand Slam Australia down under in Brisbane, Australia. Okay, impressions kind of the start. We'll talk about, but what were you guys' thoughts on the show overall?
I thought the slam was as grand as advertised.
Yes.
I loved it.
Every match was fire. Top to bottom.
It reminded me a lot of the very, very first Grand Slam. Remember the one that opened with Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega, and because it was all matches, no filler. Everything was good, right? I thought it reminded me a lot of that. And I think if they do this moving around like this, especially if they keep moving it around globally, which is what I hope they do, right? I think you're going to keep capturing that lightning in the bottle for this.
Yeah, it reminded me of the old In Your House pay-per-views, which is like, I talk about mid-90s all the time, but it was a tight 2 hours. It was just matches. It didn't necessarily have that huge event feel, but it felt like bigger than TV, which it should have been. They were putting on pay-per-view. We got this for free, though. For people that were complaining ahead of time, like, oh, it was supposed to be a pay-per-view. It basically was just you cut 2 hours off. It was half a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But it delivered.
And Max still has it as its like own thing on Max. So there's that, right? Which hopefully that's a signal for future pay-per-views, but I digress. So it opened up with the Dream Team, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay.
The Omega Powers.
I'm sorry, I'm going
It's
off
the
of
Omega Powers.
The official. I don't see those words in front of me. It's Dream Team,
Omega,
Kenny Omega,
Powers.
Will Ospreay
The Omega Powers.
against Kyle. I'm a fucking star, Fletcher. I'm sorry. This man is just, he's to the moon with this guy. Seriously. And Konosuke Takeshita. What a way to start. So they start with that. That was straight fire. It had a lot of fan service in this match, right? The whole like Will Ospreay sacrificing himself to save Kenny part, it had, all the double moves, all the big finishers, all the fan service, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Okay.
I don't know how you could put those four in a ring and not get something great.
Exactly.
Like pro wrestling at its best. If you enjoy the wrestling part of pro wrestling, that was for you. That was you can't not have a great match with any combination of those four guys if you're into that style of wrestling, which I certainly am. I feel y'all are as well, and a lot of people. The only thing I did not like about this match is the fact that it went on first, which in itself isn't bad, but that gave me a clue about what might follow later in the show. And we'll get to that in due course. But I figured if this wasn't main eventing, I kind of knew what was and which way that was going to go.
Well, yeah.
I will say this about this match. This is the only thing I got to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hidden Blade into a one-wing angel. That's it. That's all I got to say. Because that's been all over the interwebs everywhere. Everybody and their mother has seen this. Even my wife, who isn't even a wrestling fan, has seen it. Okay? Amazing match, but it did. And in the immortal words of Dewey Cox's father, not the wrong kid died, the wrong Aussie won.
Yeah.
A Dewey Cox reference, ladies and gentlemen. Golf clap.
Hey, Walk Hard, man. That's such a great movie. It's underrated as hell. I love it.
It is. It is. All right. So
Can you smell that? No, Sam. I can't.
well, after
Come on,
that,
man.
we had. We're moving right along here. We got a lot of wrestling to get to. All right. So Mercedes Moné versus Harley Cameron. Everybody's watched this show knows our proclivities towards Harley Cameron. 2/3 of this dais was convinced she was winning the title, and the smart one who is talking to you right now was not. And what can I say? Where's my stamp at? Boom.
To be fair, I wasn't convinced she was. I was thoroughly convinced she absolutely should have, and I still think that's true.
Okay. I'm with you there. Still though, on such a major stage, yes, she's Australian. I get that, right? But besides that, they have definitely done a great thing making her, and it's mostly her, right? But making her from wrestling wise nothing to actually being on a pay-per-view against Mercedes Moné, for God's sake. I call it a pay-per-view. It basically was.
This was the most I've enjoyed a Mercedes Moné match since she's been in AEW.
Was it because of Harley Cameron?
Mostly, but not just the character we love in Harley Cameron, but the fact that Mercedes can't go out there and just try and tear it down with Harley Cameron. So it was a little bit more. She acted a little bit more like a heel, which this worked for her because she doesn't have to cheat to beat Harley Cameron. She can beat her clean and still kind of be a heel, but she was much more of a heel throughout, and it was a little bit slower and more of a entertaining match than just go out there and do good wrestling for 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, with Harley Cameron, it's going to be a little bit of a slower match just because of her in-ring ability. But to your point, she wrestled like a heel. She started the match with the whole bending over, get out of my ring, you don't belong here shtick, right? Heel shit.
Yeah. That's just keep doing that. Just wrestle like a heel. Cheat against better competition every once in a while.
But alas, Jamie, she's not our champion. No. Mercedes is still the champion.
She should. The wrong kid died. I'm dead serious on this. Like, she should have won, man. Like, it would have been so perfect for her to win, and then just drop it on Wednesday. Just drop it again on Wednesday with a rematch. Just drop it. Give her her moment.
Yeah.
Like, do the Zack Ryder.
Don't disagree with you, but yeah, that's not how it's going to happen. Then we go into Madness Central, which I loved. So they put right in the middle of the show, Jay White, Adam Copeland. I am not going to refer to him by his new moniker. No, thank you. Versus the Death Riders. And this match pretty much got you what you thought you were going to get, right? But you got some stupid spots from Copeland, right? The jumping from the concourse from the entry. Jay White is a megastar. Please detach him from Cope and push him to the moon. Please. God, please. And yeah, no Beth Phoenix. Not gonna see Beth Phoenix in AEW. She ain't coming.
And we got Willow. We got an upgrade.
Right. Put a pin in that. Follow that up with, which was a match that I knew I was going to like, but I didn't know I was going to like as much as I did. The Continental Championship, Kazuchika Okada defending against Buddy Matthews, right?
The Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada.
Oh, I do apologize. I don't want lawyers coming after our ass. The Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. His driver's license name. Oh my God. This was pro wrestling. This was good.
Yeah, this match was amazing, especially considering that Buddy rolled the shit out of his ankle on his entrance.
He sure did.
If y'all saw the video, but he jumps over the top rope and comes down. His ankle full on turns in. You saw him limp a couple times throughout the match, but outside of that, you never would have known. Almost as great as the match itself was the lasers on Okada's entrance.
Yes.
So cool.
Yes. That has to be a staple for him now. That was so good. It suits him so well, like beyond so well.
I'm gonna take it a step further. I like the way they did the stage and everything. It just made it feel bigger, right? I think if they go with this as like their template for their pay-per-views, I'd be so happy because they can do more stuff like they did with Okada and some others, right? Just think about some of the other entrances they could do with this type of like format stage. Oh, God, let's go.
Yeah, the setup was great. Like the show looked great. Crowd was hot. International crowds are always so good.
Oh yeah, and singing.
How about them singing Copeland's song? That was sick.
that was good. That was good. And Copeland's tearing up, and I'm like, "No, man, get pumped." So he came back around, but yeah, that was good. Of course, that all meant that your main event was Mariah May defending the AEW Women's Championship against a timeless Toni Storm with
excellent match.
Very good match.
You knew it was gonna be a good match, though. You already knew, like, check mark. Great match. Wasn't the match of the night. Match of the night was the first match. Like,
but it was gonna be. You almost.
We knew that was like that's.
I don't
the
know
thing.
if you can like really be match of the night when there's absolutely no way you wouldn't be match of the night. Like I feel like you get split off.
Yeah, it's like, hey, just do your normal. Okay, guys. You know, that's what that was.
I know it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to
Timeless
default.
Toni Storm and Mariah, man. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. I liked the ending. Okay, I know that might give me a little heat on this show, but I like the ending. I like the roll up for the win. I thought that was very well done.
I don't know. I love Sneaky Pin. I love the little small package for the victory. Austin?
Yeah, especially in a match where you have both competitors kicking out of some bigger stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, you kind of establish that your heavy-hitting moves might not get the job done, and then you sneak a small package out of nowhere. I love a good small package. Takes me back to Bryan Danielson's Ring of Honor Championship run when he was often beating people with a small package. That's classic pro wrestling. And if you're going to complain about that, maybe watch something else. Like, it doesn't get more pro wrestling than a small package.
And you had like both of them stealing each other's moves, and they were doing Maydays and like what is God
Zero?
right? So yeah, Storm Zeros just left and right on each other, back and forth, right? So it had to be something like a small package, and put a pin in that because I got more to say in a little bit. But predictably, it ends with Toni Storm retaining her title or regaining her title.
Yeah, and new. That's something that has not been said on this show in a long time. And new.
It's coming.
We're
building it up.
Finish your story, Austin. Finish your story.
Sometimes it just takes a little long, kind of like Cody Rhodes losing the first time. But then you get there again, and you're like, cool, we finally got it. Still would have rather had it sooner, but you know what? You get it when you get it. And I'm getting it on March 7th. 9th, I think it is. That's right. March 7th is Triple L.
9th.
Which I am wrestling.
I don't know what's happening March 7th. You know what you're getting, but
March 7th, I am wrestling for the Triple L Championship. So that's going to be a 2-title weekend.
Oh. Little two belt Reddick over here.
Technically 3. I already got the HCW tag title. I'm collecting belts like Ultimo Dragon. I'm going to need longer arms to hold all of them.
Well,
he's one half of Techno Beat ACFC.
Well,
the good 2025.
The good thing is that they did not finish the show with Tony Khan announcing where the next one's going to be. I like that, right? I think that you keep it special, but you don't need to I feel like in the past they pre-planned too far out. Now they might have an idea where it's going to be, but they just let it be in its own world, which is fantastic for the Australian crowd. I thought that was great.
Yeah, unfortunately, the entire night was ruined for the Australian crowd and all of us at home. Because what the nerds on the internet have told me is that the ring was too small.
Wait. Oh, I need you need you to learn me about this a little bit, because I don't know about you, Jamie, but I don't know nothing about this.
What do you mean it's small? We keep being told it's average size.
All right.
It's
Worst stash segue ever. Let's go.
yeah, we're gonna drop a little knowledge and just reassure all of you out there. It's not the size of the ring. It's what Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshi do inside.
Preach.
Yes.
Yeah, if you have been trolling the lawless hellscape that is Twitter since Saturday evening, you might have seen the nerds getting extra mad that the ring was very small, and that makes AEW an unprofessional company, and they are dying. So let me start by asking y'all, as well as anyone currently in the chat, did you even notice during the show?
I didn't notice at all.
As somebody who's gone to hundreds of shows, watched thousands of shows on TV, no, not at all.
I did notice the steps were different. The little black steps.
That's the only thing I noticed too.
But the tables are different size. Just like in Japan, they have different size tables. I thought nothing of the steps. I could not have told you that the ring was any smaller.
Yeah, and the steps I understand, like, if you're not hauling your ring over, you're not hauling the steps over, and those classic fit around the corner steel pro wrestling steps, like, indies don't have those. You can't just borrow those from somebody.
Right.
I enjoyed the different steps. It looked like the old, like, 80s WWF, where there's, like, the little small wooden steps at ringside.
Yep.
It looked like a little bit of a throwback. But yeah, as far as the size of the ring, as someone who has wrestled in many different size rings, the difference between a 20 by 20, which is what they normally use, and an 18 by 18, which is what they had on the show, is marginal at best. The 20 feels bigger when you're inside, but 2 minutes into wrestling, you don't notice it's any different. I did appreciate Buddy Matthews going on Twitter and blaming the small ring for why he rolled his ankle and lost. That's a nice little touch. If it's out there, you might as well use it.
That's good.
But the diehard we must hate on AEW at all times people are claiming it was a 16 by 16. I can assure you it absolutely was not, because you would certainly notice a 16 by 16 ring. 16 to 18 seems like a huge jump. 18 to 20, marginal at best. But along this ring talk, I have also wrestled in a 12 by 12 ring in a triple threat match against two other guys who are much larger than me.
Jesus.
And it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. In a 12 by 12 ring, there is no running the ropes because it's like one step on the other side. You can kind of bump, but you're going to hit the rope somewhere. This was at a birthday party my buddy Cody put together for his little cousin who was turning 10.
Oh, okay.
Called up a bunch of wrestling friends and was like, hey, I want to put on some wrestling for my cousin's birthday. It's on a Sunday afternoon. Obviously, there's no money because there's no tickets, but there will be a shitload of beer. And we were all like, yeah, have us a beer. And so we pounded a bunch of beers in the back, and then we went and had a nice little triple threat. Most of it was done outside the ring because it was tiny. And then just for fun at the end of the show, like all 10 of us did a battle royal in a little 12 by 12 ring. It felt like playing with action figures inside of it because it was so small. It was a great time.
That's awesome. Well, I went ahead and put up a poll for everybody watching us live here. Are you into ring size? Does ring size matter? You know, so you got 4 options. You know, big rings for me. I like them average. Tiny rings do it better. And then if the wrestling's good, I'm good. So just let us know how you feel about ring size.
And I will wrap up the stat knowledge with a PSA I've thrown out in different iterations several times on the show. If you are going to take to the internet to complain about the size of the ring on what was a fantastic show from top to bottom, please don't.
Yeah. I had no idea about this, and I don't really like dwell too much on X, you know, for lots of reasons. But this is primarily one of them. Stay away from the idiots, right? But I peek in every once in a while, a few times a week, right? So I peeked in Sunday, I was checking around, and I saw one tweet that said, oh, the AEW is going under. They're so broke they had to have Kyle Fletcher get one of his buddies to get a ring for them. And I go, oh, that's enough internet for today. I just ran away. Like, okay, whatever.
They're so broke.
Yes, they just got like $200 million from Max, but they are broke and going out of business because it didn't make sense to ship a ring to the other side of the world
for two shows.
Yes. Was it even two separate shows? I thought, did they do the Ring of Honor
thing
the night before? Or was it all like one shot?
It might have been. I mean, they might have shot the same day. I don't.
Yeah.
But it was two separate shows that they did it for. Yeah.
Yeah. No. People like that are idiots. So I do want to. I know we're gonna get into Fed talk a little bit later, but I do want to call out that somebody said this online, and it really kind of resonated with me about WWE fans. So maybe they're really big Johnny Depp fans. Okay, there's really like they love. Okay, to be specific, their favorite Johnny Depp movie is Crybaby. They love Crybaby. Okay, if anybody's ever seen Crybaby, okay, maybe that's not bad. That's a good one for a lot of people. But anyway, so basically what they're doing is they're expecting when they go watch What's Eating Gilbert Grape, they're expecting to see the same Johnny Depp that was in Crybaby. It's a completely different character. It's not the same guy. Same with Edward Scissorhands. It's a different guy. Not even the same guy. Like, why you gotta always be like, oh, it's not WWE, so I don't like it. It's like,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Here's a stash of knowledge addendum. We're gonna expand a little bit more.
Well, extra.
I will tell you why diehard WWE fans cannot enjoy other pro wrestling. Because WWE is not pro wrestling. And that's not me gatekeeping what is or isn't. That came straight from Michael Cole's mouth like 2 days ago.
I was gonna bring that up on the Fed talk. Yes. No, you're absolutely
right.
Right.
Actually, I'm gonna beat you for your title in March.
Actually, Triple H said it right when they went to Netflix. They're story based with some wrestling. They're not a professional wrestling show anymore.
They still use the sports entertainment monikers. Sports entertainers. These are they call them talent. They call them entertainers, superstars. Even though kind of the using wrestling words blacklist that Vince had isn't really there anymore, they still don't say a lot of those words on TV. So,
yeah, and I think it kind of helps to wrap your mind around how people can watch WWE and not also enjoy AEW. It's something else. And that's where the popularity comes from. It's the same reason reality TV got popular. Jersey Shore got popular. Like, it's lowest common denominator, basic entertainment. And I'm not saying that to hate on anyone that enjoys WWE. But their modern product is just kind of trash TV. And I mean that in like the genre sense of the stuff people, when they're just kicking their shoes off and sitting on the couch for a couple hours on a Monday, just kind of mindless entertainment. And if you like that, more power to you.
Hey, here's the best analogy I can throw out there for you, Austin, since you are a diehard Denver Nuggets fan, right? It's like watching the NBA and then trying to say that, the Summer League 3-on-3 is the same thing as the NBA, right?
Right.
They're both basketball. One of them's more basketball than the other, right? One of them's basketball-ish, right? It's a little more entertainment, right? And it's fine. They're both fine. Like what you like. It's okay.
Yeah. Or you're a Lakers fan and your whole life you're like, Luka's trash. Luka Doncic sucks. He's god awful. They trade for him. Oh, he's the greatest. He's gonna be the next big star. Hashtag Penta. Hashtag Ricky Saints.
That goes back to the not wrestling specific. That just goes back to people on the internet wanting to pick fights and argue with people because they're bored.
Dude, I know.
Yeah.
How about we not pick fights? Let's talk a little bit more about Dynamite, gentlemen.
Dynamite. So we're gonna flip the script a little bit here, guys. I'm gonna actually lead us through, kind of keep us on track here. We're gonna try to be a little more efficient. So I'm gonna do like some play by play and let my color guys do the colors. So let's get to it. I figure, and we don't have to go necessarily straight, through this, but we gotta start with how they started. Because
Absolutely.
my God, MJF and Hangman's face off. To me, this was the moment of the night, right? And there's a lot of good in this episode. But my God, for multiple reasons, which I'm sure you both are going to touch on. And if you don't, I'll make sure to hit here. But what were your thoughts? Jamie, I want you to go first here. What were your thoughts on the face by face or the face to face or the standoff, whatever the hell they're calling it, between MJF and Hanger?
I would agree that it's probably the moment of the night, but I will definitely say it wasn't the promo of the night. So I'm keeping them separate because you had the full-fledged Hanger face turn in this thing in the most non-face turn way. Like, he was talking about everything, and like he was being very open and real. Like, you could definitely tell like there was some sincerity behind it. And then MJF was being, honestly, like we do poop on MJF a little bit for being very formulaic, right? Very formulaic. He was not tonight. He was very good. Both these guys, again, I think Hanger is that guy. MJF's right. He was always going to be the golden child. He was going to be the guy, and I mean, he kind of is because he can work with anybody and like clearly make fire with anybody.
Austin?
Yeah. So, not to derail us back into WWE. This was, and like not to keep doing a comparison between the two, but since this is somewhat relevant, to me, fine. This was the best version of what WWE does pretty much every week. We're going to start the show with just two people talking to each other on a microphone. But this was as compelling as that can be. You had two very different characters telling a great story out there. And neither one of them was completely wrong. Like you had mentioned, Jamie, MJF pointing out, Hanger, you were deemed the guy before this company ever started. I came in here with just a scarf and a microphone. This, to me, was probably one of the best MJF promos I've ever heard. And Hanger was phenomenal as well. But this was just good storytelling between two good talkers to get you hype as hell for a match they're going to have in a few weeks. This is pro wrestling, like the talking part of pro wrestling at its absolute best.
And I agree with both those. And I think that, yes, to get you for the match, but I think even broader than that, gentlemen, because you open with MJF really getting into their history, which those of us with short minds can forget. Oh, yeah, they were the end of the very first match in AEW, right? No, actually, it's not 100% true first match, but close enough, right? But they were the end of it. And then they face off again. There were some early, like, they crossed paths a bit, and you forget some of that stuff. But to Jamie, to your point, you can't abandon what Hanger's done. The man burned down a house while drinking You can't just say, "Oh, nope, never happened," right? You can't go full John Cena on it and be like, "Boop, no idea, nope, didn't happen." It happened, and I think that A, it does a fantastic job of setting up the match, yes, but B, more astutely, Austin, here's my thought, is that it sets up. We already know that MJF is meant to be the top heel in the company, basically, right? But this puts him on ground, as like that believable all-time heel, right? Much akin to old school Ric Flair, right? Ric Flair was the heel in the Mid-South and in, Dave Crockett Promotions and NWA, right? But it's because of in a similar fashion. And Hanger is being strapped to a rocket ship and pushed to the moon as the guy, right? Past be damned, all us done cold. He is the guy. And God bless. I love every last second of this. I think it's the right move for them, for the company, and for us on March 9th when we get to see it mano a mano.
If that match sucks, I will be so disappointed. Like if it's average, hell, if it is Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly going to be a nut shot because it's an MJF match, so it'll at least have that in common with Nakamura and AJ Styles. But outside of that, it should be outstanding.
I assume so.
So there's 4 matches in the night, okay? So they go from this into the first triple threat, the patriarchy versus the Ops. I don't know what you guys think about this whole the Ops thing. I don't hate it. It's still got hooks, so I kind of hate it. I don't totally hate it. Because it has it's got enough Samoa Joe in there to balance it out. And this was a fun, good way to start the show, I felt, right? Ops gets the victory by multiple chokeouts, plus Christian being a little coward. The old
Cracks.
TNA fanboy loves the little Christian and Samoa Joe nods that happen. I will say that. So,
Yeah, this was a fun trios match. I'm never sad about seeing Samoa Joe and Christian on my TV. Could have done without Hook being there, but what are you going to do? They're just going to keep trotting him out.
well, Jamie, let me ask you then, because at the end of the match, when they're standing there in the ring, Taz does make a reference saying that it's an Escalade, a Bugatti, and a Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Who the fuck is the Mitsubishi in this picture?
Hook.
It's got to be Hook, right? And what odd reference. A 3000 GT?
It makes me remember the original on PlayStation Gran Turismo. Remember the first Gran Turismo? The Mitsubishi FTO, which is the 3000 GT.
Yep.
You could get that thing up to 1,000 horsepower. It was like the killer of the game. It was my favorite car in the game. It is all-wheel drive.
I had a fairy brother who had a 3000 GT, an automatic one at that.
Oh,
Yeah, I think if we're comparing Hook to a car, he's the Mustang they came out with in like the mid 2000s that was like bulkier and slower than previous, and like everyone's 18-year-old daughter had one. That's Hook if he was a car.
with the V6,
Yeah,
no V8.
yeah, no V8.
They were still doing V8s back then.
Yeah.
This is America.
It was a car or a Mustang in name only. Like Hook is a wrestler in name only.
So we're making Shibata a Bugatti, and everybody's good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's a hell of a wrestler, dude.
I mean, the Escalade's easy. That's obviously Samoa Joe. So
He is the wrestler.
that's a good point. All right, you guys chime up in chat, or if it hits up in the comments if you're watching the replay. 3000 GT. What car would you put Hook as? Okay.
Ooh, or even better, what would our cars be?
Ooh.
In the chat, if you're on watching, what cars would we be? I would love to see these comments.
And for those of you watching, live, we're gonna end with that too. So I want you both to think about this a little bit here. All right.
See, that's gonna be hard because I'm not a super car guy, but I'll give it my best shot.
me and Jamie are gonna go deep, and Austin's gonna be like, "You're a blue one. You're a red truck." Not that bad. All right. So next match was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Big Bill. Before that, you had a Jericho promo. I do like some of these Jericho promos. He was really snarky with Renee, which was great, right? They showed a video of him losing to Bandito and was it Los Runners, or what were they called?
Yeah, the Los Runners.
Los Runners at the Australia ROH thing. And Jericho goes all hot and wild and, issues a challenge for Bandito for the Ring of Honor World title. So get that belt off of him, please. Then straight into... Go ahead.
Really quick. Specifically speaking of the video from the ROH Grand Slam thing of Bandito beating Jericho and Jericho just sandbagging the shit out of Bandito's finish, which is just a German suplex. Yeah. Jump a little bit and it'll be fine. That was rough. Like inexcusable rough for someone that's carrying the Ring of Honor World title. Get that on Bandito ASAP and let's be done with Jericho.
For all of us. For all of us.
And then they moved to a match that had featured zero Jericho, thank God. Because, oh my God, it is big meaty street fight time. Let's go. I love Powerhouse Hobbs embracing the meat. Okay? Big men, we want to chant meat when you do stuff, right? You can blame Big E for this, but God damn it, we want to chant meat when we're seeing you live. And he started a meat chant himself. I love it.
Let the hate flow through you.
What do you guys think of the street fight? I mean, it's a big man street fight, but it has some good fun to it, I felt.
I think my favorite moment of the whole thing, there's a lot of fun ones, but when Hobbs hit Big Bill in the back with a chair, and then Bill just turns and looks and stares at him and points at him like the angry monkey. Like, oh, dude, that cracked me up so hard.
If we had Cell of the Night, that's easily would have won Austin, hands down.
Absolutely. This match was it was fun in the way that street fights tend to be. They didn't have to go full on like death match with it, even though we got barbed wire at the end, which is always fun. It was just two big guys beating the crap out of each other. And what I appreciated the most is that they were both wearing street clothes for the street fight. Now, Big Bill just wrestles in jeans anyway, so he's usually just kind of ready to go. Nothing just bothers me to my core more than people showed up to a street fight in regular wrestling gear.
Well, like what about Pac? Because Pac only wears wrestling gear.
He's the exception because he doesn't own actual pants. But outside of that,
no pants.
The only difference between a no DQ match and a street fight is you show up in jeans for the street fight. Right. And so I appreciate that they both did that.
I mean, commit to the bit for sure. It did have a nice little barbed wire finish there with, throwing him on there. And of course, and he has to like wrap his arm around and it's a different finish. He could have gotten up, but he was trapped by the barbed wire. Eatable loss for Big Bill because it wasn't his fault. He was trapped by barbed wire. Great for Hobbs. Fantastic. I mean, they're going to run these two back ad nauseum.
Oh, absolutely.
Which we know, and we're fine with. We have an or.
Or what you got?
Is this the moment that we finally get the Big Bill Jericho feud, and he takes the belt off of Jericho like we all want?
No,
I'd imagine Bandito will take the belt off Jericho, and then we'll get to Jericho and Big Bill from there.
I think it's more likely you have Big Bill team up with Powerhouse Hobbs as he exits the learning tree than you have him taking the belt off of him.
I don't think you need to make Big Bill the Ring of Honor champion.
No.
I don't need Big Bill on Ring of Honor. I need Big Bill on Dynamite and Collision because Big Bill's the best.
Yeah. I mean, you give him TNT title, Continental or something, right?
International.
That works too.
Speaking of things being the best, this finish was the best last man standing finish ever without it being a last man standing match. I know I've talked about this on the show multiple times in the past, how much I hate last man standing. I love that it was pin, submission, or knockout. So you could get the 10 count, but not just exclusively that. So it's not every 2 minutes the ref just randomly counting while someone just waits to get to their feet.
Right.
This finish was fantastic, and I very much appreciated it.
Right. He was caught up in the barbed wire. All right. So after that, you had a bunch of promos. So we'll just kind of tear into promo world. All right. So a little bit skipping ahead just a little bit. You did have Justin Roberts, who's from Phoenix. Who knew? Right. Announced that Double or Nothing is going to be in Phoenix. Good little home service. I like the theater setting. I think the theater settings have been my favorite of their alternate settings they've been doing, right? The small arenas are great, but I like the theater settings. I think it has a good look to it. It's good sound because it's for a theater. It's meant for music, right? Reverberation. Hello. But they're going to be in May 25th, coming back to Phoenix for Double or Nothing. So there you go. Which is odd because I remember Tony Khan saying a few years ago that Double or Nothing was going to be in Vegas every year.
Well, he also said All In was going to be in England every year.
Okay, touche.
Man can change his mind.
Yeah.
He's also the same guy that said the quarterback down in Jacksonville is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, a generational talent.
So what you're saying is in the future, it might turn out that Time Cop is no longer his favorite movie?
100%. He might find out Bloodsport is actually his favorite Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And that's the correct answer.
Bloodsport's great.
I would love the reoccurring gimmick if once a year, basically you have him just pop up and totally like nonchalantly, like not even thinking about what happened the previous year, but something pops and he goes about how this particular Jean-Claude Van Damme is my favorite movie of all time. And it changes every year. And he's oblivious to anything that happened in the past. Like, what are you talking about? No, I never said that.
Either that or he uses his billions to fund a remake of Time Cop with the AEW. I'd watch.
Bro.
It'd be his version of No Holds Barred.
All right. So, other announcements. Jamie, are you a fan of Gabe Kidd?
I'm a huge fan of Gabe Kidd.
Would you like to see Gabe Kidd in AEW potentially, maybe on Collision?
Oh, you mean like this Saturday?
This Saturday. There you go. Yeah.
Little
I'm
Christmas present.
I've got a pretty good idea of what Gabe Kidd's doing on Saturday.
Gee, what could that be?
If we want to just roll into another promo that happened tonight.
Go for it. Let's go.
With the best wrestler alive, Max Caster, saying the open challenge will continue on Saturday. Pretty sure Gabe Kidd's showing up and trucking Max Caster, which I'm here for.
I mean, give me Gabe Kidd in AEW more, period. That's all I want, right? You know, I feel like he would fit. I know there's a lot of bodies in this landscape. I get it. But I feel like he's a good, if you're revolving around putting your top heel and your top face, which are MJF and Hangman and Page, you've got Swerve, you've got all these people who are basically in their own lane, right? I feel like inserting Gabe Kidd, even if right now it's just like kind of like he did with Ospreay and with Jay White initially, right? Just kind of getting him in there a little bit with the intention that in a year or so, full Gabe Kidd, I'm for it so goddamn much. Yes,
I think even in the short term, you could build to Gabe Kidd and Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Without having Gabe Kidd be like here full time or anything like that. You got some time, run that back from Wrestle Dynasty Kingdom.
Sure.
And I'd be on board to watch that.
Well, besides that, you had some women promos there. So you had a quick little Mercedes promo, Jamie. You know, Mercedes, we found out who her next opponent is. So in Australia this past weekend, they showed Momo Watanabe in the audience, and she did an interview with Lexi where she said
Watanabe.
Watanabe, yeah.
Watanabe.
Yeah. Where are the Hispanic names? I can do those. You know, Jamie always butchers those. I can do
Watanabe. Like Wonton AB.
Wonton AB. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Watanabe.
Well, Momo says that she wants to use her, she won the thing to challenge anytime. She wants to challenge for the TBS title. And Mercedes like, come to Dynamite and tell me that. Okay, she just said it, but
Yeah,
sure.
so she'll be there next week.
Yeah. A couple things about Momo, which I have no issue with Momo. A little bit of a deep cut for your casual American wrestling fan. Like, not a lot of people know who she is. The match will still be good. I forgot to mention this. We were talking about Grand Slam. I didn't like that they showed Momo right before Mercedes and Harley, because that really stuck the nail in the coffin of, oh, Harley's about to lay down.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I wish they could have even showed her earlier in the night, just like, hey, she's here to watch both women's matches and all that. But like, you cut to her right as you're getting ready to that TBS title match. You know where they're going with this.
It's somebody who's never wrestled in a AEW, right? She had like the she won the 4-way because of whatever, okay, but no threat to take that belt off of her, which is my biggest problem.
And Mercedes telling her, "Oh, you want a shot at title? Come tell me to my face next week." No, she won the match. Like she has the title shot.
She could say
that's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, to your point though, Momo is an excellent wrestler. She's in Stardom.
She is
phenomenal. But for your casual United States fan, a lot of people straight Googled her tonight.
Quick aside on women's wrestling, because I don't know if we'll naturally get to it. I didn't see the match, but I heard Athena and Alex Windsor from Ring of Honor last weekend was phenomenal.
I heard that.
I called that out too, saying that match was going to be ridiculous.
You did. You were giving Alex some serious pre-props on that.
Hey, 70% of the time, I'm right every time.
Except when you were picking who was going to win belts in Australia. Just saying, Jamie. You're going with your heart, not your head.
Oh, I feel like
okay.
I feel like I'm okay.
No.
I feel like I mean,
we definitely
again 70% of the time I'm right every time.
Well, you know who's right every time, all the time, as one Miss Toni Storm. So Toni Storm comes out to soliloquy us upon her the latest chapter. Okay, so in the line of fantastic Toni Storm promos, I mean, insert this right near the top for me. She had the spotlight on her. She was just going to town. Talks about the small package, and then of course follows that. I beat you with my small package, but the truth is, I railed you. It's like you should have got some protection because I railed you with the biggest package that's ever been. God bless you, Toni Storm.
And yet again, she called out Wendy Richter. Don't forget about that.
To a good pop from the crowd too.
So, I got a question for y'all. Because as I was saying leading up to this, and again, I wasn't predicting that Mariah was going over as much as I really wanted Mariah to go over, and I thought that was the better move. But we got a fourth reign from Toni Storm, which is never a bad thing. Toni's great. She does phenomenal work every time she's out there. They didn't set anything up tonight. We're a few weeks out from Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all want to see next from Toni Storm?
That's a great question. Because I'm thinking of all the other women. All of them are in feuds right now or doing something. There are storylines for all the other women.
I don't think there's anything for her. And I'm good with her not really being in a feud for the belt until Mercedes finally drops that belt to whoever's right after Momo. Or they just kind of just push those two together. Because realistically, I know there's the Mariah May comeback factor, but you've already did that on their feud on the other way around. So, I like the idea of, because there's nobody else really that you could put on the same level in AEW other than Mercedes. And it's unfortunate for me to say that. But that's just the way they build them.
So that goes back to what I've been saying the last few weeks about why Mariah should have won. It feels like we are back to where we were a year ago. Tony's the champ. She's super entertaining, but who do you put on the other side? I do think if you want to heat something up really quick to get us to Revolution, because you're not going to not have Tony defend the belt in Revolution, I do think there is an answer that would at least work in the short term, and that's Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, and I'd hate this,
I like it though. It's easy.
I like it. It's easy. I'm a big Hater fan, and I don't think they've done a great job with her the way they brought her back. So there's that. Because I would like her to have a much, bigger run and build towards that title. But yeah, they haven't really built her to have that. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, I think with what they've done with her since she came back, I think she's someone you can feed to Tony on a 2 to 3 week build. The match itself, I think AEW fans will tune in for. Like, who doesn't want to see Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter go at it? But I think that's like kind of the only short-term thing you can do. And I'm just, who's out there to really build stuff with her long-term? They don't have a lot of big name heels outside of Mercedes Moné in the women's division right now. I mean, they could heat up Megan Bayne to go there, and we'll get to her in due time, but that seems a little soon.
Yeah, she's not ready because they're doing other things with her, which again, hashtag too soon. Like I brought that up last week, and here we are again. Yep. I don't know, like you could probably just throw somebody at her that's halfway decent, like Julia Hart.
You could put out there, I know it's whatever, but Deonna Purrazzo again, right? Now that she's kind of paired up with Taya Valkyrie. I don't know.
Nia Jax or Nyla Rose. Not Nia Jax. Nyla Rose.
I think there might be one other option out there if you want to get into a bigger program and give Tony something interesting to do over a longer cycle. And that's you finally bring Athena up to Dynamite. I think Athena would be a great other half of a feud with Tony Storm.
I do too.
I agree.
I mean, you can always just pull Sheeta off the shelf. I don't know if she's hurt or not. I don't know what's up with her.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
Sheeta is like Godzilla. She shows up when you really need her, and you go take a nap for 6 months until you need her again. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible, because Sheeta has been the most reliable person in the AEW's women's division for years. We're like, we gotta get someone out here really quick. Cool, let's just call Sheeta. She can do it.
Okay, so we're gonna put a pin in the women's match for a second here. We're gonna talk about somebody who Tony Storm didn't make mention of, and that is Willow Nightingale coming out here doing a very kind of on the nose promo about not getting too much time on TV and then getting interrupted by Marina Shafir, only to get interrupted by Marina Shafir again, which I strangely liked a lot. I feel like, as much as I know everybody here is going to hate Willow kind of, being, not getting the full props and the push that she deserves, a part of me, maybe it's just the optimistic JJ in the room, is thinking this is to build Willow to be a bigger face at some point. I can't help but have to think that. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't know how you could make Willow an even bigger face than what she has been. I do think they could have done this a little bit differently tonight. Instead of interviewing Willow and have her getting jumped backstage before Death Riders go out, just have Death Riders go out. Jay White shows up when it looks like he's outnumbered. Willow comes out of the crowd and attacks Marina for attacking her last week, and then Cope shows up, and now you're rocking and rolling, and you got that babyface pop for Willow of her saving the day instead of just getting jumped again backstage. Willow should not get jumped by anyone backstage. Willow should be handing out the ass beatings, not getting her ass beat, because Willow's the best.
I agree.
But it does play
Like,
into
I got nothing to add.
But it does play into the card they're drawing for Marina and the Death Riders, right? You know, beat down, and then here comes Willow back with the volley.
I'm just ready for it to be over. Not even gonna lie.
See, I like the beginning of this promo when he came out there, because again, it's something that didn't need the belt, but it's kind of the unhingedness of them that I do like about the Death Riders in general. Okay.
I do too, but they don't need the damn belt.
They don't need the belt, and then they bring out Jay White, and then here comes Cope out of nowhere, and then Cope pulls out, Abyss's bat. I mean, the bat from under the stage. Spike. See, Abyss, when he had his, it was believable looking, right? This thing here is just a comic prop with a
Looney Tunes prop.
It's got a carved and padded handle, way too many nails in one area. It
looks like a toothbrush, dude.
Yeah, you remember Abyss when he had was it Juliet Jennifer? Oh God, what do you call it? Justine. It was a woman's name, began with a J, but it was literally just a badly painted 2x4 with like 9 nails randomly tacked into it. It's perfect. This just looks stupid.
Speaking of things looking stupid, this segment had the same problem I feel like every Death Rider segment has had recently. A lot of awkward standing around waiting on run-ins and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, it never seems natural, and it never seems to really work.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. It's just that's why I'm over the Death Riders right now, just because they are formulaic. They are so formulaic right now. And if they didn't have the belt, it'd probably be better. But since they got the belt that we haven't seen in months, it sucks.
Yeah.
I like Mox's promo. Like, I thought Mox got a really good promo at the beginning, and then the segment just like, oh, people are going to run out, we're going to stand around, Mox is going to escape through the crowd, rinse and repeat.
Like, they could have cut it at that. Like, he did his promo, and here comes Jay White, and they just go burp and just bust out, right? Do something different, for God's sake, right? Whatever.
It goes back to the awkward standing around. Pac walks out and then just stands there. Why don't you just run out and hit Jay White? Like, you got 4 other dudes in the ring, 3 other dudes in the ring, and Marina Shafir. Just go hit him. Like,
the slowest 10-foot walk ever, right? Because that was a short stage. It was. I'm getting there. I only wear my underwear. All right.
Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see him do with Pac once this Death Riders thing wraps up? I want to see him do like a Superman angle where he's just in street clothes backstage and no one recognizes him because he's not in his gear, and just make that a running bit that just happens every once in a while.
Yeah. I'm all for more bits. I loved what they were doing with the backstage stuff. I also love what they're doing with Ricochet. God damn it.
So good.
So Ricochet comes out, addresses the audience, makes a Kevin Durant joke, cheap heat, fantastic, classic heel shit, right? And then turns to the audience at home, all while he's still wearing the whole robe, right? And having Ian Riccaboni on commentary tonight was even better, I felt, for that. Because Ian Riccaboni, the voice of ROH, right? So that was fantastic to have there. And out comes Prince Nana. And boy, the heel shit that Ricochet was serving to Nana was thick. Told him if he wants it, take it, right? For a man that Jamie and myself have said it should never open his mouth because he can't talk, he's turned into a fucking good talker heel.
Yeah, he's a great promo. Like, the character, he's found the stride for this character, and it is the most entertaining Ricochet has ever been. And all credit in the world to him on that.
Jamie, he said he wants to go. He said that his reasons for gold, right? Do you think he's done with this feud? Do you think this is a put a pin and come back to it feud? he's going to go for gold. What do you thoughts on
Oh
next
no,
steps for Ricochet?
this feud, once the feud is done, that's when he goes for gold, because I feel like Swerve is going to get in the way of that. But to your point too, like I said, 7% of the time I'm right every time. Well, he's part of the 30%. He's part of that 30%. You know, and even though he's part of that 30%, typically you have about 33% chance of me being 100% accurate. And then since you have the other person there, there's like a 75% chance that I'm gonna be 100% accurate. But typically I'm like 108%, 8.5% accurate. But he got right this time, so hats off to him.
I love your mini Steiner math. Oh, look, Rhea Ripley's in the chat. Hi, Rhea.
Rhea Ripley.
Baby Steiner math, Blackwoods. Baby Steiner math.
They got my Steiner math reference. Thank you.
So I actually had to trim it, but I actually found out how to make that into a copy pasta to be put onto Twitch for like TTS. It's fantastic doing for streamers on Twitch who are wrestling fans. It's even better for streamers who have no idea what the fuck it is, because it's confusing as shit. I don't get this. And then you get people like Blackwoods that check go Steiner math, yeah. I love it.
Yeah. No, but seriously, like what Ricochet is doing right now is absolutely great. Like, he is boring as a face. We've said that 1,000 times before. We've never really truly seen him as a heel other than as Prince Puma when he was a luchador, essentially, and Lucha Underground. That's the only time we've seen it. And, dude, this is his best work.
I mean, the Jadakiss thing, right. The Jadakiss thing, I was like, it was weird the first couple times he did it, but he's owning it. I like it. I'm good.
Yeah,
I want to save...
Great.
Go ahead.
I'll say, I do think we get Swerve and Ricochet again before he gets in a title contention, just because Swerve's got to get that robe back.
I think so. I think it does no disservice to Ricochet for him to lose to Swerve, right, and then move on, right? I'm good with that.
Like a gimmick match at Revolution.
Something, right? Yeah. Do not say robe on a pole, God damn it. I know. I saw Jamie's brain turning. I was like, "Don't you fucking say it."
Okay. Robe on a very long.
All right,
stick
so we're going to save the women's match. Let's talk about what ended the show. Okay, I don't get this. First of all right, not this match. This match is good. It's Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong. Thank you. Yes, please. Right? It's been good every time they've done it. Right, as expected. I don't get what they're doing. So one of the few promos they had at Grand Slam was Will Ospreay challenging, Kyle Fletcher to a cage match at Revolution, and Kenny Omega challenging Konosuke Takeshita to a international championship match at Revolution. So what do they do? Well, they make the match for Revolution Kenny Omega, not the champion, but still Kenny by God Omega, facing off with the winner of the International Revolution tournament, whatever thing. So tonight you had Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong. The winner faces Konosuke Takeshita, the champion, next week to go on to Revolution to fight Kenny Omega. Somebody make sense of this for me, please.
You know what? At first, I was along a similar line of thought, but I'm actually all right with this.
Okay. Sell me,
Kenny
please.
Omega.
Why?
Kenny Omega is going to get his shot at Revolution because he's Kenny Omega. That's fair. I understand the stories with the Callis family and Takeshita, and that's probably where we're going to end up. But I don't mind them along the way being like, well, maybe, but Takeshia's going to defend that title first, and we're going to find a challenger tonight. It kind of just goes back to this being the company where, like they say, we're the best wrestle. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth and be sad about Takeshita defending the title on Dynamite before we get to Revolution. I also think because you've been doing Kenny versus the Callis family since he came back, it gives you something different between here and Revolution of just Kenny beating up Callis family thugs. Like, how many times can he beat Brian Cage before we get there? It's a little sidetrack. I get the logic. And maybe this is my chance to tell you to take the logic out of it. I get the logic aspect of we should just be building that, but it's just a fun little side quest.
No, and that's not my part. Jamie, my part isn't about the logic, just for the record, okay? My part is about the thing that we talk about putting weight on these belts, like was been mentioned on this before. If he's the champion, fine. And he challenged me to a match at, Revolution. Don Callis like, no. If you want to go to Revolution, you have to go through, two other worthy contenders to get there, right? That to me is what makes more sense. Yes, it's what Jericho's done before 13 times, but that's my point, Jamie. And by the way, I love Backwoods. I love what you said there about Nana coming out of retirement for a match. Yes, please, yes.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, they brought in some heat there too about if Takeshita wins. I don't think it's an if at this point. And I feel bad for Orange. I think that's my whole thing with this. Like, you're just setting up Orange to lose.
Right. Which is kind of what he's been, half of what his career has been in AEW.
I get that, but it's
not
like, okay,
not
like
a bad way.
We already know the end game. We already know the end game because of Grand Slam. Both of them were one half of that match. So you already know that was already building. Kenny's going to win. Kenny's going to take the belt off of him. I think that's very obvious because Kenny's already put him over once, so it's his time to take it, and I don't mind it, but I just feel bad because it's like literally right after the match, it's like, oh yeah, Orange Cassidy's over here. Like no one remember, like he did the orange punch and then Kenny grabbed the belt and was like holding the belt like this is my belt, like looking at Takeshita and he's like, oh wait, I forgot. There's orange over here. I'm gonna take it from you too. It's like dude.
Right.
Like,
they even went back to white background Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, and Jane. Not Where's My Mind by the Pixies. That's fine.
So,
I mean, we did finish out 2024 with back-to-back Orange Cassidy pay-per-view main events. Like,
yeah,
he had a nice little run at the top to close out the year. I don't mind using him here. It's going to get us Orange Cassidy and Takeshita next week, which who doesn't want to see that?
Well, yeah.
He's going to go out there and look good against Takeshita. He'll end up losing, but it's all right.
I mean,
I don't think you need to rush him into something huge coming back.
No, I don't think you need to rush him into anything. It backs up my argument that Orange Cassidy is AEW's Diamond Dallas Page, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to end with not what the show ended with. We're going to go back just a little bit here and talk about the women's match of the night. So they had multiple women's segments, even though there was only one match. You had an in-ring segment with Toni Storm. You had a little thing with Willow. You had, Mercedes. And so you had Megan Bayne versus Kris Statlander. Yes, Jamie, I know it's too soon. Megan Bayne versus Kris Statlander on TV. God bless Megan Bayne's costume artist, whoever the fuck makes that shit, because that looks fantastic. The headdress and everything, it's such a good look. Fantastic. So you had I don't want to call it big meaty women, but you had two big powerhouses. Is it
big
wrong?
Meaty women slapping meat?
Is it wrong to do like a meet between two like larger strong women? I don't think it is. I don't think that's.
I don't think so because that chant is used endearingly.
Right. It's not meant to be like a slight, right?
It's complimentary.
So you had Statlander, versus Megan Bayne. A pretty solid match, good kind of,
equal opportunity beef. I don't know if you saw that. That's great. So good.
Quality comment, Squatch. I
We're,
like your
we're just
style.
not gonna call it DEI beef because it's a hot button.
Hey, now.
No, we're moving.
Hey, now.
Whoa.
Hashtag too soon, bro.
So this was very much a serve and volley match, back and forth, very good. And then out comes a Penelope Ford to turn the tables on Statlander. Megan Bayne gets the victory. What are you guys' thoughts of the match as a whole? Okay, not just the ending, as a whole. And B, what the hell are we doing with these two women moving forward? Go.
So, on the match as a whole, I can't actually comment as a whole because about a third of it was during a commercial break, which
Touché,
I thought was
yeah.
unfortunate.
Okay.
Out of what we saw, it was entertaining. Megan Bayne is an attraction, and Kris Statlander is the ace of the women's division. Much like Sheeta, if you need anything, you could send Kris Statlander out there. Longer run of Megan Bayne squashing local talent until she learns a second facial expression. She's almost there, and I don't want to say that to be shitty towards Megan Bayne because she has an awesome look. She can wrestle. She's just got to clean up a little bit, mostly do something else with your face every once in a while because you just kind of look the same at all times. But
She's the mighty Megasis. She's supposed to be deadpan, I guess.
Yeah, and as our boy Squatch has popped off in the chat, the biggest negative to this was the post-match, where it was real awkward when Thunder Rosa ran out with the chair. Pro Wrestling 101, if you're bad guys in a ring and a babyface runs out in a chair, you get out of the ring. Because they look like a total dipshit just standing there holding it up and not doing anything with it. If you need film study, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, watch every segment with Mox for the last 6 weeks. Babyface hits the ring with the weapon, he's out of there. That was awkward. I think that is on Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. They should have just got out of the ring. Because, it was Thunder Rosa awkwardly standing with the chair, and then Penelope Ford just taking the chair from her looked real bad, too. But little miscue. What are you going to do? It seems like we're going right into Statlander and Thunder Rosa versus Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford before too long, but who knows where they're going from there.
So this match was fine, and then the chair thing happened. Like the pulled it behind her head, pump fake, and then just brought it back down. Like, what the hell is this? Like,
I think she did a stutter step at one point.
Clearly,
too.
they were trying to do the pull thing, but I think Penelope missed her cue in order to do it. I don't know, to be exact. It just drove me nuts.
I don't know, Squatch. I don't know.
But I personally think this is, you brought this up actually also on the last show, put her with Penelope, give her something, be the muscle for somebody. I think that makes a lot of sense because she is a goddess or whatever, she's the mighty Megasis, and make her that true enforcer. And I mean, she did look good against Stat, but Stat looked good too. That was a good solid ass match. And I agree. So she needs to go to acting classes or something so she can have more than just one facial expression.
I mean, and I feel like this is, and I didn't want to get on my soapbox, but I happened to find it just moments after Mizzou was victorious against Alabama tonight. Yay! Good basketball teams. It seems like so not everybody is familiar with Megan Bayne. You can tell that from the crowd reactions. Not everybody is ready to put over Megan Bayne, face or heel or whatever. But they're trying to make Megan Bayne happen, right? And I feel like therein lies the problem. Thunder Rosa became as big a star as she was because she was kind of known a little bit, from some circles. There was a little bit of where was she going to sign, right? When she came to AEW, Jamie Hayter was very, she was the muscle and she was kind of there, but everybody like liked her shtick and felt like she could get out from underneath Britt Shadow, so they pushed her and it worked, right? Julia Hart, they were just fucking around trying some things with her, changed her up, right? I don't know, Malachi saw some whatever, but that was over the moon. Even when they flipped Sky Blue over there, right? These are things that weren't forced upon the audience. And Megan Bayne is too good for her to be forced down our throat as the solution. It's kind of like, remember when Lex Luger went back to, I think we went back to, was it WW? I can't remember. He bounced back like in a matter of like a year and a half, 8 times. But it's when he became the narcissist. You all remember that?
That was the first time he showed up in WWF.
Right. And they were trying to put him over like he was like this, and it just didn't go. And everyone's just like, that's Lex Luger. I don't, whatever. Okay, just it feels something like that, right? It's like you're trying to make fetch happen once again, okay? And I'm not trying to say it to slight Megan Bayne. I just feel like, to Jamie's point from last week, right? You could give her like a better kind of like run, do it with Penelope, not just jump into something instantaneously too fast or you burn it out, right? Let it build a little bit, let people see her body a little bit of work a little bit better. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and with someone like Megan Bayne, if you heat them up too quickly, where do you go from there?
Exactly.
Yep.
Now that she's beat Stat, she kind of should be in title contention. The women's roster, it's deep in a certain regard, but it's not as deep on top talent as you need it to be for someone to go out there and beat Kris Statlander and not immediately being looked at for a title shot, especially when we're bringing in someone nobody knows from Stardom, which, sorry, Momo, you're great in the ring, just people don't know who you are. And Toni Storm does not have a challenger. Like, with all that just kind of being your 2 champions aren't in big feuds, they don't have a long list of challengers lined up, it's kind of hard not to push someone like Megan Bayne and immediately be like, well, they probably should be going for one of those titles. Whereas I think if you slow down a little bit with her, give her some time to get used to wrestling on TV, it's funny to make fun of the one facial expression, but I think she'll figure it out. Like, I have no reason to believe 6 months from now she's not exactly where you need it. You don't want to go to that too fast.
Mm-hmm. That was a similar argument that pundits were making about Johnny Gargano when he was early on in NXT. One facial expression, Gargano.
And he figured it out.
Yeah. Sorry.
Squatch did put something in there. He asked if he's alone, or they, I don't know, sorry. If they're alone in their general dislike of Monet and her far too long title run. I think we've waxed poetically a lot about how she needs to drop that damn title. Like, she should have dropped it to Grand Slam. Absolutely. I'm not bitter about that at all.
She should drop that title because she's the only one believable at this point because of the way you built your roster, to Austin's point, to go after the women's title, to go after Toni.
Yeah.
The long Aussie one.
We seem to talk about this fairly regularly. But the problem with Mercedes' title run is she kind of acts like a heel backstage, but she doesn't wrestle like a heel, and she just kind of beats everybody. Yeah. And the matches have been good, but with her, it's kind of just matches. And that's only going to get you so far. Even in a place like AEW where the matches are kind of the bigger thing, when you've got so many other compelling stories on the show, you're not really into someone that's just there to wrestle and not play the character part of it. And that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. I enjoyed her match with Harley Cameron more than the other one because you had a believable babyface on the other side you wanted to win. You kind of hyped up this big moment, and it wasn't just her being the better wrestler. It was her acting like a heel throughout the match.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that with Momo at Revolution. It'll just be another Mercedes Moné match where she'll just win at the end and retain the title.
There's no chance. But if you take that belt off of her at some point in time here, soon-ish, right? Because You can have her and Tony be in the main title picture and not actually wrestle each other for go like WWE on this. They could basically like set this up for Double or Nothing tomorrow, right? And never get around to actually wrestling, and we'd all be fine with it because it's believable that those two are there. Meanwhile, you take the title like it was in Julia's reign. Like Julia wasn't like a mega star, right, when she got that title, but it does good for the title, and you could even move it around a little bit, right? She's got it for a little bit. Willow wins it. Maybe, she wins it back. And then here comes Megan. Megan takes it. Chris takes it from her, right? Bounce that title around a little bit. Make it that proving ground title before you get to the big title, which is the Women's World Championship. But what do we know? We just watch too much wrestling. Yeah.
S, I appreciate your opinion. But, you're entitled to it, my friend. We enjoy it. But we don't hate any other types of wrestling. So we could say a lot of the same stuff about WWE, about how they used to have the same storylines over and over that are going for like ever. They have some good ones, don't get me wrong, but hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Appreciate you though.
Yep. So
yeah, I got a hard disagree on the comment that Tony has no storyline concepts.
Yeah.
Because we, going back to the beginning of the show, we kicked it off with a phenomenal promo segment between Hanger and MJF that is telling one of the best stories in wrestling in a long time, even though this is just getting going. So it might not be for you. If it's not what you enjoy, man, watch what you like. That's cool. But AEW, they tell stories all the time, and some really good ones.
Yeah.
Go watch Johnny Depp and Crybaby.
We're not going on Crybaby. God damn it, Jamie.
That's a reference to earlier.
That's a callback, ladies and gentlemen. All right, speaking of WWE, there was a PLE of sorts this weekend. So one of the NXT big shows, Vengeance Day, happened surprisingly about the same time on Saturday as Grand Slam counter programming. Okay. But it was a pretty good one. It had a title change. Big clap to one Miss Stephanie Vacour for obtaining her first singles title in WWE. And one of Fallon Henley's best matches, I will say, right? The former Tesha Price from AEW, right? She was the weird, crazy girl, right? She's actually come quite a long way. And yes, I know, to your point, Austin, she looks like everybody else, right? That is definitely one of your things. But I'm fond of her from the pandemic days because she was the crazy lady, first row. And but no, Stephanie Vacour gets a title. You had a bunch of good stuff there. There's a lot of good things going around NXT. Obafemi basically, caved in or tried to cave in the soul of Austin Theory, which is always fun. And good stuff going there. Did you guys catch anything from Vengeance Day?
Just a couple clips on the internet.
Jordan Grace.
Yeah.
Cora Jade was the star of that match. I know Julia retained, but Cora Jade, hell yeah. And I will say this. People have been sleeping on Ethan Page, like saying he's just a talker, not a wrestler. Go watch this Javon Evans match. Holy bajoli, Batman! This was probably the best I've ever seen him work.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't catch Vengeance Day.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't caught NXT in a minute. I like a lot of the talent they have over there, but I don't know, man. NXT just I gave their New Year's show a shot, and it was okay at best. Although that was mostly because it was a commercial break every 90 seconds, and that kind of annoyed me.
Yeah.
But it is good to hear that like they're doing good stuff. Ricky Stark showed up.
Oh. You mean Ricky Saints?
All right. What do you got thoughts on the Ricky Saints thing, Austin?
We talked about it last week. We knew this was coming. They were going to change his name.
I know. Yeah. Did you?
Why?
It's financially very smart for him. That's why.
I don't think it has to be. I don't think it has to be. Like, you're still calling Julia Julia. You're still calling Stephanie Vaquer. Ethan Page is still Ethan Page. I don't know why you had to change the name, especially when last week he showed up and everyone was chanting their name because they know who he is. Like, he's built a name. Just keep him as Ricky Starks.
Yeah. I
don't disagree, but I bet there's a little red tape on getting access to the name because he just got released.
I don't know about that because I don't think AEW ties up anyone's names.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure
thought they helped him trademark it.
If they helped him trademark it, he has the trademark. I don't know.
I don't know. There's definitely something financially I think had to do with it, but I mean, he will do fine.
Well, he's going to do great. He's meant to be in WWE.
He's built for it.
Right.
He's built for the production. There's
very specific wrestlers who are built for WWE. There's wrestlers who are built to do better at AEW. There's wrestlers who are meant for New Japan, right? There are some that just fit those molds, you know? No,
yeah,
they didn't necessarily offer him a pile of money, Squatch. And the second that Cody was going over there, Ricky was going over there because, I'm not going to call him his lapdog, but yeah.
So, did Tony waste him? Yes and no, because Ricky said no to a lot of creative because they wanted to do a lot with him. That has been well documented. He said no, so then they're like, fine, just sit at home. He could have said yes to one thing.
I wouldn't say that AEW wasted him at all. I think both parties benefited. When Ricky Starks showed up to AEW, he wasn't ready for WWE. I think it gave him a chance to grow as a performer. He got to work with a lot of top talent. And I think AEW got great content out of him for the stuff we did get him for. Like we were just talking about, I think some guys are better fits for some places. I think Ricky Starks is a better fit for the WWE style of pro wrestling that they do. And I don't mean that in any kind of a bad way. No. I think both sides benefited, and I would love to see more jumping back and forth in general. Like we were talking about Lex Luger jumping over to WF for a run as a narcissist and made in the USA and then come back to WCW. Like, that just freshens it up for everybody. Let's see some more guys leave for a year or two and then come back instead of just the exact same people for long runs where you just see them do the same things.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have Roman Reigns ain't going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Kenny Omega's not going anywhere. Okay. Some people say, "Oh, Kenny could go there." No, he's not. All right. But you have those that are going to be where they are, right? Everybody else, though, that's flexible. And, AEW had, in a manner of speaking, AEW had a handful of guys in the same boat as Ricky Starks, right? Young, good talent, future, sort of, put the company on your shoulders for the future to be top mid-tier or, lower top guy, right? Or top guy, and because basically we talked about Daniel Garcia and Ricky Starks, more or less one-on-one, right? One's a little better talker, one's a little better in ring. Okay, what do you do, right? You got to push them both to the moon, flip one, do that. At the end of the day, you can only have so many, and some people fit in better other places. I think AEW's benefited just as much as that, but I like seeing the people, even though it might be, some people are like, oh, AEW wasted them. Well, it's good for Ricky and it's good for the product that he's going to at the end of the day. That's what's important.
Since you mentioned Daniel Garcia, he's one I think could make the jump to WWE in a few years and would do very well over there. I mean, he does great in AEW too. Like, he could be in AEW for life and would be super entertaining, but
yeah,
I don't think necessarily every kind of better known indie guy AEW signs needs to stay there forever. Kind of go back to what I was just saying. Like, let's see people move around a bit.
Can we do some trades? Let's get to Fantasy Booking Island. Let's do a trade.
Wild speculation.
All right.
Some trade.
Let's do a trade, and don't forget, guys, we have some card talk to get to.
Yes.
Austin's forgotten. He's like, oh shit.
I did forget. I'll come up with something.
All right. Trades. We're on the trade block. Day one of the draft. We're gonna do one man for one man. Jamie, go.
Montez Ford for Danny Garcia.
Okay.
Montez, with his personality, needs to be a singles wrestler. He comes over. He is a top guy in 3 months. He's too talented.
Okay. All right, Austin.
Solid.
One. Oh, go ahead.
If I'm just coming up with one on the fly, one for one.
I was gonna give you a different one, but go for it.
Okay, give me your different one then. Give me your different one.
I'm giving you one for one women's wrestlers.
One for one women's wrestlers. I'm gonna go Io coming over to AEW.
Okay.
And she's only been here for a cup of coffee, but I'm gonna send Megan Bayne over to WWE.
Ooh, I like that.
I
I think
like
that suits both of them very well. That's very smart. JJ.
Right. You guys gotta give me one. What am I doing?
Tag teams.
Straight tag teams or just two people?
Tag teams. And you can't say the fucking Outrunners.
All right, so the Outrunners are protected. Okay, I got you there.
Yes.
All
I'm
right.
protecting them. They have a no trade clause.
So if I'm doing tag teams, I am going to send Private Party, the WWE, NXT specifically, for DIY. I think Private Party can be developed into, and I know it's kind of the same vein as Street Profits. I know, I get it, but hey,
They're the Street Profits before the Street Profits.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm sorry, Johnny Gargano and especially Ciampa in AEW. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, that'd be a solid trade.
All right.
We had our man S in chat ask about our thoughts on some of the tiny wrestlers in AEW. And which ones? Like, who is truly tiny in the AEW men's division? Marco Stunt has been gone for some time.
I'm thinking Darby Allin. Like that when I think small, I think Darby.
Darby is small.
Darby's size works for him because Darby is a lawn dart. He gets tossed around and he finds a way to win. But it's not. I'm interested to see who.
I mean,
who
are we
he
talking like
considers-
Johnny Gargano and AJ Styles small? Oh wait, those are not AW. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like I'm interested
Ciampa's
to
small.
know who he considers
okay.
the tiny guys.
Yeah. All right. So final question. We'll do this all here, and then we're done with trades. 3 for 3, any variety. Men, women, tag. You can mix it up. You can do whatever. 1, 3, 3 over, and 3 back. Jamie, go.
I would say I would get from WWE Pete Dunne. I think he would do very well over there. I think Sol Ruka would do very well in WWE or in AEW as well. I think she just has it. And then Obafemi for sure coming.
You're being greedy. Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Then I'm gonna send.
You gotta send.
I'll send them Big Bill because Big Bill has been there, and he's a lot better now. So I think that'd be a good thing for him. I will send the Young Bucks.
Ooh. Final check on their bucket list, huh?
Yep.
Okay,
Give 'em one
Austin,
left.
three for three.
Daniel Garcia for Jake something.
I don't know if you've been
Squatch,
here
yeah,
long,
here very
Squatch,
long.
but we'll
I've
get.
been thinking about Jake something.
Well, it's an inside story. We'll tell you about it later, Squatch. All right, Austin, 3 for 3. What you got?
All right, 3 for 3. I've mentioned this previously on the show. I would send KO over to AEW.
Ah, there you go.
Along with KO, I would probably send Rey Mysterio as well.
Okay.
He showed up on the first All In, but like, I would like to see Rey Mysterio get his victory lap. Not that he's not still on top of his game, and he's getting hella paid. Like, I don't blame him, but I would like to see a Rey Mysterio run. So let's go KO, Rey Mysterio. And as a third one, I'm going to go with the along the same thing as I did for the women earlier with the just got there, but I'm going to send Jordan Grace as well.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
And then coming back,
Okay.
Jamie stole one of mine. I was going to send Big Bill back over there.
You could say the same thing. It's okay.
It's a good
Not
one.
that I mean, I want Big Bill to stay in AEW forever because I love Big Bill and I watch AEW regularly. But I think he would be a good one to trade back over. I think Powerhouse Hobbs would be another really good one to trade back over. I think Powerhouse Hobbs would do really well in WWE.
All right. Yeah, one more.
And for the third one,
Send a big man.
probably Jamie Hayter.
Oh, that she would probably do well over there.
Okay. All right. 3 for 3. You took one of mine. Powerhouse Hobbs. I think Powerhouse Hobbs. Yeah. Powerhouse Hobbs for sure. Okay. Britt Baker.
Oh, they can have her. That's not fair. 'Cause we're done. We're done with Britt.
All right. You're done. You're done. Okay.
That's
but
not fair.
I think she would work in WWE though. Like I think
she would work.
Can't
I
wrestle,
think.
So
I mean, she already. You could put her in a faction with Candice LeRae tomorrow. It makes sense. Okay.
yeah.
Her wrestling mom. Yeah. So I think for sure, put Britt Baker over there. She's still on the roster. She still counts. All right. Sorry. And then I would Hook. Because I think Hook should be in WWE. 100%.
as long as I don't got to watch him on Wednesdays, I'm down with sending Hook anywhere.
Coming back from WWE into AEW, Stephanie Vacour. She had a big offer to sign with us, just like she offered to sign with them, right? The fan base does know her, okay?
It was bigger from what I heard.
It was bigger, but whatever. So
WWE reach, man. She's
I'm just
smart.
saying, hey, Ray, we're a fantasy draft world. I can do what I want. So Stephanie Vacour, I would take that. I like Pete Dunne. That sounds so good. So I'm not going to take him though. I'm taking AJ instead. Give me AJ. Do that final run. Give him the whole Bryan Danielson treatment, right? AJ Styles, and then throw a wrench in things. Bayley.
That'd be fun. I do got to amend one of my three really quick.
I mean, you got Bayley and Mercedes. Hello, let's go.
Because Jamie had already said Big Bill. And so instead of also saying Big Bill, I'm going to swap him out. And I'm going to say send Brody King over to WWE.
Really?
I think Brody would be great over there.
Yeah, I do too. I mean,
I think Brody's key right no matter where he's
They need
at.
to strap a rocket to him.
Yeah, not that I want to see him leave AEW, but like
Yeah.
if we're making trades, especially because I'm telling you to send KO over to AEW's way, you got to give him something big in return.
Yep.
Throw Brody King that way.
Somebody else I
Dude,
say would be
Squatch, you need to listen to our last week's show. We literally just talked about the cruiserweight division.
Austin brought
like
up
how they
one to
should
do
bring one back in AEW.
Austin brought up that we should do a lucha title.
But
yeah.
here's the thing too, like because S also brought up like Darby Allin, some of the small guys, which is true. But here's the thing: small guys are all over now. Like the days of you have to be 6'5" and under 25 years old in order to work for that company, that guy's gone because he's a terrible human. So now you have Triple H who just looks for people with talent. Like if you're watching the A&E thing, they got some dudes that are like 5'9", 5'10". They're on there, you know. So it's just there are different flavors of wrestlers, in all shapes and sizes. The days of the old school days are done.
And I think there's big guys and there's also small guys in both, in all of them.
Yeah.
Now. I mean,
by far, there's plenty of small guys.
I'm gonna go through S's list really quick though, because I did ask, like, who do you consider the small guys? Darby Allin, we addressed earlier. His size is part of the draw. You can throw him around. You can't kill him. So Darby Allin is a little bit different. That's part of his character. He's a little guy that just takes a hell of an ass whooping, and then he comes back later. Marco Stunt, gone. Danhausen, comedy character, also
pretty
largely
much gone.
Hasn't been around forever. Hook, I will give you, but none of us want to see Hook on TV either. So like that's a fair one. Ricochet is a smaller guy, but who do you see Ricochet in the ring with? That doesn't seem like he belongs there.
About the same size as Adam Cole. So
and like
he's a little bigger than
Ricochet
Cole.
In there with Brody King, and it's still a believable match. You can see Ricochet in there with Claudio, and it's still a believable match. So I don't think Ricochet is a small guy. Like when you ask about like the tiny guys, I think more along the lines of it just looks awkward that they're in the ring because they are just way too small. I don't think Ricochet fits that mold. And then Jack Perry is a smaller guy, but he held a secondary title, and you don't see him going out there and beating your Claudios and your Brody Kings and those bigger guys.
All right.
Well said.
So let's wrap it up, boys. So there was a comparison made tonight by Taz that the Ops, whether you like that name or not, was an Escalade, a Bugatti, and a Mitsubishi 3000 GT. So, hey, we have a 3-person dais here. What would you say each of our cars are? Now, Austin, do you want to start, or do you want the two guys who work in automotive to go first?
I'll start. And I am not a car guy. I am aware of multiple makes and models of cars and things like that. And I did see I believe a little piece of a car trivia the other day that I think applies to this. I think Jamie is the Chrysler Pacifica, which I think is their minivan and the only thing that Chrysler still makes. One, because of the multiple kids, but two, because of the constant trips to softball practice. I think you fit as a Chrysler Pacifica.
That's fair.
Put a pin in that for a second.
Okay, we're gonna put a pin in that.
I actually used to own a Chrysler Pacifica.
I was going to say, what did your wife used to drive?
Yeah.
So
Chrysler Pacifica.
For JJ, that one's harder because I don't have a deep roster of cars to pull from. I was about to say, just as a funny bit, I was about to say you're the Cybertruck, but like that would almost be too mean. I'm gonna go with, was it the Honda Element that was kind of the cube shaped one?
Yeah.
Like when it came out, it was like supposed to be like kind of high tech looking, and you had a bunch of people like had like cool speakers and shit and stuff like that. I think it was the Element, whatever that cube shaped Honda looking like little crossover gimmick was. I think I'd go with that.
Still has a really good resale value to this day, I will say.
It's all right.
What about yourself? You got to do one for yourself.
Oh, I gotta do one for myself?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Or should we do that? Should we like not be able to choose for ourselves?
We can choose for ourselves.
Yeah. What would you choose for yourself?
if I had to choose for myself,
And
I
tell
would
me why
probably,
it's a Jeep Wrangler.
That is what I drive.
Well, that's
That
what I
is-
figured you choose.
That is what I drive, but only because we moved. My wife got a company car, and it was either sell her Jeep Wrangler or my Ford Focus, and we were moving to Denver, so I was like, the Jeep's gonna get more play out that way. That's gonna come in handy. We'll stick with the Jeep. That's where I am as far as the car guy. My 3 vehicles before that were a Ford Focus, an F-150 I bought off my parents, and a Toyota Avalon that was manufactured in 1997
So
and I
you're-
bought in 2006.
All over that spectrum there with no discernible.
I am very
trade.
much the cheapest thing that has 4 wheels and a motor and will get me where I need to go kind of guy.
So
But
what
if
would
I
you?
got to pick
call
one for
yourself?
myself, I'm going with the El Camino. Something you can throw some beers in the back of and it'll just get you down the road. I'm going El Camino.
Okay.
That's solid.
All right. Want me to go next, Jamie? Or you want to go?
I'll go. I don't care. All right. So JJ, the very first thing I thought of for you is like you always want to tweak stuff and mess with things, and like you're too much of a perfectionist. So I thought, oh, what's a perfectionist style car? Cybertruck. So that's the very first thing I thought of.
Wow.
Just because they're super technologically advanced. All right, and then Austin, I when I think of you, you're just kind of just easy going, just want to get after it, but you're just like, yeah, let's do this, and you're fun as well. So I got like a rag top or something like that. So I thought of a 1965 Pontiac Tempest. So just rag top, fun to drive, big motor.
Roll with one of those.
Cruising that. And then for myself, I thought of myself as somebody who's a little volatile, somebody who's a little bit like not small, but also is fun to drive. It'd be fun. So I'm a 1997 Tahoe Sport. That was the 2-door Tahoe.
Yes.
That would always break down all the time. Like it,
Love
like
those,
it would rain. It ran like a champ, but it'd break down all damn time because it was just a little volatile.
But
So I
it'll
figured
run
that-
for 400,000 miles, easy.
Yeah, it'd be one or the other. Like it's gonna break down every 20 miles, or it's running forever. Who knows?
Fantastic. Side note, I would kill to have a 2-door Tahoe or Tahoe Sport or Blazer. So on that note, I thought of these. I thought of Austin, and I immediately thought of actually a vehicle you kind of own. I see you as like a 79 Ford F-100 farm truck, right?
That's fair.
It's not as big as like the current full-size trucks, right? Again, it'll run forever, old dependable, go 1,000 miles, lots of space for beer in the back, right? Very much a tried and true solid place, right?
That extra fits because every time I see someone driving like a big ass truck, I just stare at them like, what do you need that for? Like, you're not doing anything with that. You're just
Right.
taking up too much space in the parking lot. I like a good, slightly smaller than full size truck. So that's solid.
Right. Now, I'm a little skewed with Jamie because I do know Jamie and I have been friends for well over a decade, right? And I know Jamie's proclivities. And I can't help but think of Jamie and think of a Subaru because he's a Subaru guy. But he's got a lot of kids and stuff, so he'd be a Subaru Ascent, so he'd be the big Subaru, right? Carrying all the kids around, doing all that. But, go anywhere because he's got to drive 8 million miles a year going back and forth to softball.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's myself. I am a tinkerer, yes, but god damn it, I'm not going down a Cybertruck route for myself. I would not ever wish that on anybody. What is something
Jamie, the Honda Civic Faulkner.
I'm a Hummer. I got thrown a Hummer in here. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I get that. Like, what the fuck did I do?
So if I, for myself, had to pick something, what's something you would tinker with a lot? 80s and 90s German cars, right?
Oh, scheiße.
Audi Audi Quattro Coupe. Bam. Let's go.
There you go. That's solid.
70s Charger. Oh man! All right. So I've been calling a Hummer and a Cybertruck all in one show. I don't know if that's good or bad, but all right, boys. Anything else you had for this evening?
No, that popped me so hard right there.
Yeah, I think Jamie getting called a Honda Civic is the perfect.
Man, when we're off of this, I'll tell you my car thing also about my marriage.
All right,
it's pretty funny.
Let's go. All right, well, thanks for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining in. If this is your first time visiting us, we'd love to see you back. We do this every Wednesday at approximately a half hour ish after Dynamite does go off the air. We'll talk about AEW, WWE, some independent stuff. If you're in the Wichita area this weekend, go see Austin Reddick wrestle live and in person. If you're in Chicago next weekend, he's got some deathmatch shit going on at a bar, which I'm not gonna lie, I almost want to call in from work, but yep. But thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Hit that subscribe button if it's your first time here. Give us a big like. You can find us on them internets at Total Spotfest on X and on Blue Sky. Same time next week. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down with Total Spotfest, I got 3 words for you. Wrong Aussie one.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.